I want you to visualize a very specific scenario, okay? You're walking down the street in this beautiful, completely unfamiliar city.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Right. The architecture is stunning, the energy is electric, and you look down at your hand, ready to check your route, and you realize your phone battery is completely dead.
Oh, no.
The worst. The screen is just black, you have no digital map, zero translation apps, and you have like absolutely no idea where you are. Welcome to today's deep dive on Tim's English channel.
It really is the ultimate modern nightmare, isn't it?
It totally is. And today, we're tailoring this deep dive specifically for you, the English learner. We're going to take this at a nice measured pace.
Yeah, because in that exact moment your phone dies, the brain actually treats it like a physical threat.
Wait, really? Like a physical threat?
Seriously, your cortisol levels spike. And if you're an English learner navigating a foreign environment, well, that sudden surge of stress hormones essentially shuts down the language centers in your brain.
Oh, wow. So that's why you freeze up.
Exactly. Yeah. Every single vocabulary word you spent months studying in some quiet room, it just evaporates.
The city instantly transforms from this, fun playground into an intimidating maze. So our mission today is to build a simple step-by-step toolkit with 4 essential phrases.
Yes, 4 phrases that will save you.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly how to stop a stranger, ask for directions, and actually understand their response. All in English without letting panic or complex grammar get in the way.
Because looking through the source materials we gathered on how we communicate, the overarching theme is that in a crisis, it isn't about perfect grammar at all.
No, not at all.
It's about pragmatics. It's about managing cognitive load, both yours and the stranger's. And to make this really practical, we're going to follow one specific case study today.
Right, the story of Leo.
Yeah. Leo is an English learner from Brazil, and he took his first solo trip to New York City, the Big Apple.
The biggest apple. And the sensory overload of New York is intense, even for locals,
Oh, for sure.
So Leo is on his 3rd day. He walks out of a subway station trying to find Central Park, and boom, the phone dies.
Just black screen.
Yeah. Taxis are honking everywhere. Thousands of people are power walking past him, and the skyscrapers are so tall he can't even see the sun to get a sense of direction.
Which brings us right to step 1, the critical moment. When that stress hits, the instinct for most language learners is either fight or flight.
I mean, I think my instinct would definitely be flight.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I would probably retreat into a cafe, buy a coffee I didn't even want, and just hide in a corner until I could charge my phone.
A lot of people do that.
Or, on the flip side, the panic makes you impulsive. You just step right in front of the nearest person and shout, "Where is Central Park?"
Which is a totally natural reaction. You just want the information immediately, know. But from a social perspective, barking, "Where is Central Park?" is, well, it's highly counterproductive.
Oh, wait, I mean, structurally, it's a perfectly constructed sentence. It has a subject, a verb, a clear question. Why would that fail out in the real world?
Because language is bound by social contracts. In a busy urban environment, if you just walk up to a stranger and immediately demand data, you're treating them like a human search engine.
Ah, I see it comes across as demanding.
Exactly. You startle them. And when people are startled, their default response is often to just say, "I don't know," and keep walking.
You have to establish a connection first before you extract information. And looking at the notes on Leo's approach, he managed this beautifully.
He really did.
He took a deep breath, and he didn't target a businessman sprinting with a briefcase. He looked for someone moving slowly, specifically a man walking a dog.
Which is brilliant. Dog walkers are the absolute holy grail for lost travelers.
Because they live there, right?
Exactly. They almost certainly live within a few blocks. They know the neighborhood intimately. And importantly, they are already moving at a slower pace.
So Leo approaches this man, but instead of demanding directions, he uses a highly strategic opening. He steps forward, smiles, and says, "Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Could you help me for a second?"
I love that. The psychology embedded in that phrase is remarkable. By leading with, "I'm a bit lost," Leo is intentionally signaling vulnerability.
Right, he's admitting he needs help.
Yes. Human beings are fundamentally a cooperative species. When you admit you're lost, you lower the stranger's defensive shields. They immediately understand you aren't trying to sell them something or run a scam.
You're just a fellow human who needs an assist.
Exactly. And then he follows it with, "Could you help me for a second?"
That part is key. In a city like New York, time is the ultimate currency.
Oh, absolutely. Time is everything.
If you just say, "Can you help me?" the stranger might subconsciously fear they're about to get dragged into this, 20-minute ordeal.
Right, they panic.
But specifying for a second creates a boundary. It makes saying yes feel incredibly low risk.
And it worked perfectly for Leo. The dog walker stopped, smiled, and kindly asked where Leo was trying to go. Which brings us to step 2, the next cognitive hurdle.
Right. Once you have a local's attention, you actually have to formulate the question.
And this is where I always see learners freeze. They know they need to be polite, so their brain tries to build this elaborate, formal structure, like a massive jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, yeah, it's like trying to build a ship in a bottle during an earthquake.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
They start piecing together, could you possibly inform me of the correct directions to arrive at? And halfway through the sentence, they just completely lose their train of thought.
Cognitive overload. You are juggling vocabulary retrieval, syntax, and pronunciation, all while a native speaker is staring right at you, waiting for the end of the sentence.
But Leo bypassed all of that mental gymnastics. He relied on a single, universally understood anchor phrase. He just asked, how do I get to Central Park?
It's so simple. How do I get to is the ultimate utility phrase in the English language.
It really is.
It's grammatically unshakable, perfectly polite, and entirely modular. You just plug your destination onto the end of it.
Like, how do I get to the train station? How do I get to the pharmacy?
Exactly. It takes the pressure right off the learner's brain.
But asking the question is really only 50% of the job. Now the native speaker is going to reply, and this is where the real panic usually sets in.
Oh, the response. It is almost always a vocabulary flood.
A flood, yeah. Native speakers in their own element speak rapidly, they blend words together, they use localized idioms, and they point in random directions.
To a learner, it just sounds like an impenetrable wall of noise.
Let's look at what the dog walker actually said to Leo. It was something like, oh, you're super close. Just head straight up this avenue for 2 blocks, take a right at the traffic light, go past the big glass building, and it will be right there on your left.
Okay, if you try to translate every single word of that sentence in real time, your working memory will crash.
For sure.
You cannot process avenue, blocks, traffic light, and glass building all simultaneously.
So how do you survive the flood? Our note suggests you have to act like a radar, tuning out all the conversational filler and scanning only for the core spatial concepts, the big 4 direction words.
Exactly. You are listening for the architecture of movement. The first spatial concept is forward momentum. Number 1. You want to listen for words like straight.
Like go straight or head straight.
Yes, or walk straight. The mechanism is the same. Maintain your current physical trajectory without deviating. Do not turn.
Okay, so that sets the baseline. Then number 2, you listen for the pivot. Native speakers will obviously use turn left or turn right, but they very frequently swap the verb turn for make or take.
Oh, all the time, as in take a left or make a right.
Which can be so confusing if you learned English strictly from a textbook where make implies creating something.
Like making a cake.
Right. But in urban navigation, make a right simply means change your direction 90 degrees. Okay, so number 3 is the concept of the waypoint. This is the one that used to get me constantly turned around when I was traveling.
The waypoint is crucial. In the dog walker's instructions, he told Leo to go past the big glass building. Right. The phrase go past is a critical piece of environmental framing. The native speaker is giving you a visible landmark.
The glass building.
Exactly. So you know you're on the right path. But the verb past dictates that you must not stop there. You have to keep walking past it. The landmark is merely a checkpoint on the way to the final destination.
So if your brain only catches the noun building and misses the directional phrase go past, you might end up wandering into the lobby of an office building looking for Central Park.
Precisely. And then the final piece of the puzzle, number 4, is the arrival confirmation. It's on your left, or it's on your right.
Oh, that tells you where it will be when you actually get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It projects where the target will physically manifest in relation to your body once you complete the route.
Okay, so Leo's brain radar catches straight, take a right, go past on your left. But here is where I have to admit a classic habit of mine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if I were a nervous traveler and I caught maybe 60% of those instructions, I know exactly what I would do. I call it the beginner's curse.
Let me guess. The classic survival tactic.
Oh, absolutely. I would smile as broadly as possible, nod my head like I understood every single syllable, say thank you so much, confidently stride away, and the absolute second I turned the corner and was out of the dog walker's line of sight, I would realize I was still completely, hopelessly lost.
We all do it. We do that to save face. I
Oh,
want to avoid looking foolish, and we feel guilty taking up any more of the stranger's time.
it's so true.
But the smile and nod is a trap, because passive listening doesn't build spatial memory in your brain.
But Leo avoids the trap. This is step 3. He uses a technique that is essentially a secret weapon for language learners. Instead of just walking away, he stays engaged and uses phrase 3. He says, just to make sure, straight for 2 blocks, then turn right. Is that correct?
From a cognitive perspective, the phrase "just to make sure" is incredibly powerful.
Why is that?
Because when you just listen to someone speak, the information sits in your short-term acoustic memory, which degrades within seconds. But by forcing yourself to speak the directions back out loud, you move that information into active processing. You're forcing your brain to translate auditory signals into a physical map.
And it serves a dual purpose socially, right? You're essentially deputizing the native speaker as your quality control manager.
Exactly. If you misunderstood and said turn left instead of right, the native speaker's natural instinct will be to immediately interrupt and correct you.
No, turn right.
Right. But if you get it right, they get to confirm it, like you got it, which builds your confidence.
And the dog walker gave Leo a big smile, confirmed the route, and wished him a good trip. So Leo sets off. He's doing it. He is navigating the urban jungle of Manhattan using a foreign language and no technology.
That's a great feeling.
He walks straight for 2 blocks. He finds the traffic light and turns right. But this brings us to step 4. This is where the psychological reality of walking in an unfamiliar city sets in.
The environment starts playing tricks on you.
Right. Leo walks down this new street for about 5 minutes. He's looking around, and all he sees are very tall buildings. There's not a single tree in sight. And suddenly, the doubt creeps back in.
When you are anxious, everything looks different and intimidating. Your perception of time warps. 5 minutes feels like 20.
He starts second-guessing everything. Was a block shorter than he thought? Did he turn at the wrong traffic light?
That mid-journey paranoia is universally experienced. You completely lose your frame of reference.
So what does a learner do in that situation? The instinct is to think the whole system failed and you have to start all over. Like, does Leo have to find another dog walker and go through the entire stressful introduction process, the whole I'm a bit lost all over again?
No, and that is a crucial distinction. You don't need to rebuild the entire route. You just need a localized compass check.
Okay.
And the way to do that is to drastically lower the cognitive burden of the question.
So Leo spots a woman drinking coffee outside a cafe. But instead of asking, how do I get to Central Park? He uses phrase 4 for a quick confidence check. Excuse me, am I going the right way to Central Park?
Yes. Am I going the right way too? This is the perfect tool for a traveler who is already in motion.
Why does that specific phrasing work so much better when you're already walking?
Because it shifts the interaction from an open-ended explanation to a simple binary. If you ask, how do I get there?
Yeah.
You are forcing the woman at the cafe to compute a route, retrieve the spatial vocabulary, and deliver a monologue.
Which is a lot of work.
But asking, am I going the right way, only requires a yes or no. It takes almost zero mental effort for the stranger to answer.
You're just looking for a thumbs up to keep moving, and the woman smiles, points straight ahead, and says, yes, keep going, just one more block, you can't miss it.
The idiom "you can't miss it" is fascinating because it often terrifies English learners.
It really does. It feels like this high-stakes challenge. Like,
Yeah.
if you manage to walk past this without seeing it, there is something deeply wrong with your powers of observation.
It carries that pressure, yeah. But the pragmatic intent of the native speaker is actually deep reassurance.
Oh, really?
They are communicating that the physical scale of the destination is so immense, or its placement in the environment is so obvious, that it will inevitably dominate your field of vision. It's impossible not to see.
Which, in the case of Central Park, is objectively true. It's huge. And, navigating the physical environment brings up another layer of our deep dive today. While asking people is your primary tool, you also have to learn to read the physical city.
Environmental literacy is the counterpart to verbal literacy. When your digital map is dead, the physical signs act as your operating system.
Let's quickly review some vital street signs for English learners. Take a sign like one way, which usually features an arrow. A lot of learners just translate the words literally and kind of ignore the context.
But understanding the mechanism behind one way is vital for urban survival. It dictates the flow of the entire street. It tells you that cars only go in that direction.
Right, which means when you step off the sidewalk to cross, you only need to check one direction for oncoming traffic.
It's a safety parameter. just like the pedestrian crossing signs.
Right. What does that mean legally?
In urban design, a pedestrian crossing isn't just a suggestion. It's a safe place for people walking to cross. It alters the legal dynamic of the street. It designates a zone where the human on foot legally has the right of way over a multi-ton vehicle. The car should absolutely stop.
Good to know. And when you're dealing with subways like Leo in New York or someone in the London Underground, the architecture of the stations relies on crucial flow indicators.
Yes, entrance or way in funnels the crowd down into the system, while exit or way out is crucial for getting you back to street level. Recognizing those patterns prevents you from walking against the tide of thousands of commuters.
And here's a bonus tip. If the visual design of the city ever fails you, you can always bridge the gap between environmental and verbal literacy. You can just point at a confusing sign, look at a local, and ask, "Excuse me, what does this sign mean?"
It all comes back to leveraging human connection to decode the environment.
Exactly. Which brings us back to Leo's resolution. He takes the woman's advice, he walks one more block, he goes past that big glass building the dog walker mentioned, he looks to his left, and just like that, the concrete canyon ends and he sees a massive, beautiful ocean of green trees. He found Central Park.
You can just imagine the wave of relief and triumph.
The incredible thing about this story is that the true victory wasn't just finding a park. It was realizing his English was strong enough to survive the real world.
That is the ultimate threshold for a language learner to cross.
The dog walker didn't care about Leo's grammar. He didn't care if he fumbled a preposition. He just saw a fellow human trying to navigate his city, and he wanted to help. Communication is about connection, not perfection.
Absolutely. And the practical toolkit he utilized to build those connections is something any learner can adopt.
So let's do a quick, clear recap of the 4 key phrases for your memory toolkit. First, step 1. You manage the approach by signaling vulnerability. Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Could you help me for a second?
Step 2, you lower your own cognitive load by using a simple, modular question. How do I get to?
Step 3, you defeat the passive listening trap by forcing your brain to process the directions actively. Just to make sure, straight, then right. Is that correct?
Then finally, step 4, you manage mid-journey anxiety by asking a quick binary question. Am I going the right way to?
If you internalize those 4 phrases, a dead battery ceases to be a crisis. It just becomes a slight detour. We want you to take these concepts and lock them into your memory. So here is a challenge for the comments section of Tim's English channel.
This is great exercise. Visualization really helps solidify the language.
I want you to imagine you are visiting your dream city. Maybe you're walking the streets of London, Sydney, New York, or Toronto. Suddenly, your phone is dead, and you desperately need to find the train station. Head down to the comments right now and write out your approach. Start with, "Excuse me, I'm a bit lost," and ask for the station using the phrases we learned today.
Thinking through the physical scenario maps the English to real-world utility. I can't wait to read the comments.
Also, please remember to like this video and subscribe to Tim's English channel for more practical, real-world English deep dives.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. We started this deep dive talking about the sheer panic of a black screen. But what if getting lost isn't a disaster?
Oh, that's an interesting perspective.
What if losing your digital map and being forced to look up at the architecture, make eye contact, and ask for help is actually the fastest way to truly master a new language and connect with a new culture?
The dead battery shifts from being a threat to being an opportunity. It forces genuine human interaction. A blank screen doesn't mean your journey is over. It might just be the moment the real adventure begins. Thank you for exploring these linguistic mechanics with us today on Tim's English channel. Keep studying, stay curious, and remember, don't be afraid to get a little lost.
Warm goodbyes from both of us. Until next time.